I'm reading from Answer to Job by C.G. Jung, paragraph 620. From this point of view, we may be in a better position to understand what happened to Job. In the pleromatic, or as the Tibetans call it, bardo state, there's a perfect interplay of cosmic forces, but with the creation, that is, with the division of the world into distinct processes in space and time, events begin to rub and jostle one another. Covered by the hem of the paternal mantle, Satan soon starts putting a right touch here and a wrong touch there, thus giving rise to complications which were apparently not intended by the Creator's plan and which come as surprises. While unconscious creation, animals, plants, and crystals, functions satisfactorily, so far as we know, things are constantly going wrong with man. At first, his consciousness is only a little higher than that of the animals, for which reason his freedom of will is also extremely limited. But Satan takes an interest in him and experiments with him in his own way, leading him into all sorts of wickedness, while his angels teach them the arts and sciences, which until now have been reserved for the perfection of the pleroma. Even in those days, Satan would have merited the name of Lucifer. The peculiar, unforeseen antics of men arouse Yahweh's wrath and thereby involve him in his own creation. Divine interventions become a compelling necessity. Irritatingly enough, they only meet with temporary success. Even the draconian punishment of drowning all life with a few choice exceptions, a fate which, according to old Johann Jakob Scherzer on the evidence of the fossils, not even the fishes escaped, had no lasting effect. Creation remained just as tainted as before. The strange thing is that Yahweh invariably seeks the reason for this in man, who apparently refuses to obey, but never in his Son, the father of all tricksters. This false orientation cannot fail to exacerbate his already touching nature, so that fear of God is regarded by man in general as the principle and even the beginning of all wisdom. While mankind tried, under his hard discipline, to broaden their consciousness by acquiring a modicum of wisdom, that is, a little foresight and reflection, it is clear from the historical development that Yahweh had lost sight of his pleromatic coexistence with Sophia since the days of creation. Her place was taken by the covenants with the chosen people, who were thus forced into the feminine role. At that time, the people consisted of a patriarchal society, in which women were only of a secondary importance. God's marriage with Israel was therefore an essentially masculine affair, something like the founding of the Greek polis, which occurred about the same time. The inferiority of women was a settled fact. Woman was regarded as less perfect than man, as Eve's weakness for the blandishments of the serpent amply proved. Perfection is a masculine desideratum, while woman inclines by nature to completeness. And it is a fact that even today a man can stand a relative state of perfection much better and for a longer period than a woman, while as a rule it does not agree with women and may even be dangerous for them. If a woman strives for perfection, she forgets the complementary role of completeness, which, though imperfect by itself, forms the necessary counterpart to perfection. For just as completeness is always imperfect, so perfection is always incomplete, and therefore represents a final state which is hopelessly sterile. Ex perfecto nihil fit, say the old masters, whereas the imperfectum carries within it the seeds of its own improvement. Perfectionism always ends in a blind alley, while completeness by itself lacks selective values.